So people call her Pokimane, which is actually not the correct pronunciation. She's not from the Southeast Asian countries or the East Asian countries, as many people think.
So my initial reaction is that she has an unfair advantage because she's genetically, gifted, let's say.
Yeah.
Her audience. She was catering to predominantly men on Twitch. And now on TikTok, majority of the viewers are women.
Correct.
So I think that's also a very positive sign because not every creator has this balance. Even the biggest of creators don't have this balance.
Pokimane, basically one of the most popular names that comes to mind. She has become an icon of that genre. But
my left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put a baby in a spiral.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this episode of Creator Deep Dive, where we look at creators, what they're doing, how they're doing, and what lies ahead for them. In this episode, we're going to be speaking about a very interesting Twitch streamer. She's a YouTuber, a gamer, a vlogger as well. But before that, let's introduce Shubham. Shubham, how are you doing, man? How's it going?
Yeah, absolutely fine. A fine morning to discuss anything about creators.
Yeah.
And particularly this one, because I'm really excited about this creator. Because it was not something that I was, aware of, or like the genre.
Yeah.
It's not in my top 5, but of course the creator is. So yeah.
Yeah, the creator is quite an icon in this genre, Shubham, right? She's her name's Pokimane. So again, very interesting part about her naming itself, because there's been like a lot of debate and there's been a lot of discussion over this as to what is her name and how do people pronounce it. So people call her Pokimane, which is actually not the correct pronunciation. Because her name is Iman or Imon, like depending on how you sort of pronounce it. She's born in, I think she was born in Morocco, but she was raised in Canada, and she has those roots essentially. She's not from the Southeast Asian countries or the East Asian countries, as many people think. And she's not called, she's okay with being called Pokimane, but it's actually supposed to be a homage to Pokemon. So it's in that range, which is Pokemon or Pokimane. So that's about her name. But beyond the name itself, right, she's actually created quite a big name, quite a big brand with her all her escapades, pretty much starting in 2013, Shubham, with her streaming career, and she was one of the early starters in Twitch, live streaming games, very popular games she used to live stream, and what really used to be her main sort of moat was the fact that she was extremely humorous. She used to interact a lot. And we have to address the fact that she is quite literally blessed with very good genes, and she is very attractive. She is very pretty to look at. So I think for live streaming as well, when you're looking at games and when you're sort of viewing I think it does it's really for the streamers as well. You can have that sort of relationship that this person is almost voyeuristic in a sense that you're spending so much time with a person who you would probably never get access to, or you would probably never get to speak to, right? A lot of the people on the internet, especially. So that's not to say that she herself, her looks are the only restricting factor. She's actually an extremely talented streamer, and she's sort of made her way through all the journeys. So, if I can actually go through a journey, which was becoming a member of Offline TV, which is a content creator group in 2017, right? And she won a Shorty Award for Best Gaming Creator. So gaming has been gamer girl. When you say the word gamer girl, Pokimane or Pokemon is basically one of the most popular names that comes to mind, right? She has become an icon of that genre. But that's not what we're talking about, Shubham, here, because what we're actually seeing now is where she's heading. Right. But before we head there, I just want to get your early thoughts on her, career as going from a Twitch, gameplay streamer, a commentator, really becoming a part of Offline TV, doing a lot of streaming. She's doing a lot of videos around streaming as to how do you stream well, you should interact, you should do this and that. So let's get your starting thoughts on her journey so far. Then we'll get to her, what's happening to her.
I must confess that I've never watched any of her streams. Yeah. Because I'm not into, gaming streams. Yeah. At least because I part of the reason is because I found it much later. And when I discovered Poki, she was already, on YouTube doing her vlogs. We don't have TikTok in India, so I'm not sure what's happening there. Yeah. But what she's doing on YouTube is like a very, aesthetically pleasing vlogs about whatever she's doing, be it food vlogs or travel vlogs, anything. So my initial reaction is that she has an unfair advantage because she's genetically, gifted, let's say.
Yeah.
And people like to look at beautiful, people or things or whatever. So, but of course, you have to utilize that.
Sure.
And she's doing that really, really well. And again, I mean, to me, she looks like, somebody who's been doing these vlogs for ages. It's not something doesn't come to head that she has made a transition, right?
Yeah.
So I think she's very confident under her skin.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing and she understands content, be it long form or short form, live or recorded, anything. So I'm impressed with Poki.
Yeah, I think, I actually got to know about her pretty much, I think, during the Among Us time when Among Us was really popping, right? Like, and it was the talk of the town and everybody's streaming. And that's when I discovered her. And she was also, doing a lot of collaborations with a lot of other streamers as well and a lot of other YouTubers as well. And it's, I think, pretty much at that time, Shubham, like, in the 2021, 2022 phase where she was like, you know what, Twitch is great and she's streaming and she's winning all these accolades. But the lifestyle, right? The lifestyle that unfortunately comes with live streaming where you're essentially opening yourselves up to very demanding, right? Because you have to keep on interacting. I remember watching one of her videos where she says that you can't have, like radio, you can't have the concept of dead air, right? For example, you can't have silence. You have to do something that, oh, this person said this, ha ha ha, let me comment back to you, or let me show you this. Oh, you want to see what my cat looks like? Look, this is what my cat looks like. Oh, you want to see what my monitor looks like behind? Yeah, this is what it looks like from behind. So, the kind of insanity that it might drive you, because just imagine and this is not just 5 or 10 people, Shubham. I'm talking about thousands of people, concurrent viewers, when they're asking you. Of course, it just feels like a blur, right? It's just streaming might feel like a blur, which is why, interestingly, she made the decision to change. She made the decision to sort of, get out of her comfort zone, although the comfort zone itself was getting a bit uncomfortable in that sense, and go towards more platforms, right? Go towards short form creators, go towards, YouTube as a platform where she does, again, as you mentioned, recorded content, and also divulge into trends and divulge into lifestyle creation, be it a vlog, be it like, talking about a get ready with me or lip syncing on videos. Some things that she probably didn't know. So the way I look at it was that the way she attracted everybody's attention was the stream, right? The streaming was essentially how people got to know about her, how people interacted with her, and really got the depth of knowledge. And now she sort of divulged into a lot of the other things, right? So I'm not even constricting her to one label now. She's a personality. She's probably, some might say she's post-platform. I don't know about that, but she's at least gone to a stage where she is doing quite a bit of stuff and she's doing it quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel, when we talk about short form content and long form content, especially live long form content like Twitch, it provides you with, with an audience which is, let's say, core to your foundation, right?
Yep.
You can build a lot of stuff on it. And it's so fascinating that streaming was never about the audience. It was about having fun while playing the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But eventually it became about people. So I think that's the exhausting part of it, which I don't like. I want to see people play video games. That's it. I'm not into, communicating with them. I don't want to have them always commenting on stuff. So it has become exhausting with time. And that's pretty sad to see. But with making a move to short form content, let's say on TikTok, it feels like a retirement kind of move. Like, okay, I've done my bit. I've done all the hard work. Now I just need to record what I usually do, which is like lifestyle vlogging. Of course, it takes a lot of planning. She herself said in one of the interviews, like, it takes a lot of planning, the short form content.
Yeah.
The execution may not be that taxing, but you have to, plan it. And I think she's really, really good with planning. She knows all the camera angles well. She knows, where to sit in her house, where to go. I mean, it's the communicating through camera, right?
Yeah.
When we are, let's say, we're 2 people here.
Yeah.
And we are emoting based on each other's feedback of what we're saying.
Yeah.
But when you just have one camera, how do you emote, right?
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah. And she's really, really good at it. I mean, Mr. Beast in one of the interviews recently said that he finds it easier to talk to, camera rather than people. And in the same interview, it was Lex Friedman interview. He said that I find it reverse. I find, when I'm alone with a camera in a room, I find it really weird because I can't really, gauge what the people on the other end are seeing or reacting. So I think Poki is really, really good at emoting, and it takes a lot of bravery to, emote without having any other person sitting right next to you.
Yeah.
So
because, and that's
mind, yeah.
Yeah, and that's particularly interesting, Shubham, in terms of Poki, is because just look at her, right? She was reacting essentially. It was a one-to-many that she was doing, right? For example, she was streaming, she was of course playing, and there were thousands of people watching her, right? Thousands, probably, I don't know, millions might be a stretch, but there are obviously many concurrent viewers that you have on Twitch, and you have your subscribes and all your fans and whatnot, and then suddenly you're just with the camera. In fact, she's done one of her videos, right, which was after she sort of shifted, she was shifting, and the title is very simple. It's called I Moved, and she's living alone again, right? So essentially you're living alone and you're creating these videos, and of course you're probably living with a partner, but that's such a far cry from your days of, your glory days of streaming, where you had thousands of people watching you every day for hours on end, and now you're like, what, let me sort of take a chill pill, and which is great, which she can afford to. For example, she's actually doing a lot of brand collaborations now, right, with luxury brands, right, because she has that ability to sort of become a face of those things as well. So I think it's very interesting how she's becoming a part of this larger conversation, which is not just restricted to a gamer girl, right? Poki, you could have said probably a few years earlier that, hey, she's just a gamer girl, but now she's not. And talking about her style as well, it's just very, it's become one of those reading your assumptions about me, or I just need to talk, or how I lost 10 pounds in a week, in 8 weeks rather. So it's becoming that typical lifestyle creator, which is great, which is really working in her favor. And again, she's got a very soft and a very calming voice as well. So I mean, it's actually very interesting to watch her going from those days of sitting in front of those neon lit screens and whatnot, that typical gamer setup, to actually living a bit. That being said, of course, she did take a break. She did take a break last year, pretty much in the middle of the year. And, she sort of said that I just want to go off social media, off streaming, off, whatever bit of YouTube she was doing. And now she's sort of understanding that, okay, what, it's good to sort of take a break and not give your entire life to streaming. Basically, the whole point is that I don't think live streaming is a very sustainable genre of creation. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, nobody likes to be watched all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how people live in those big boss houses, big brother houses.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you want your space where nobody's, watching you. And I think streaming is something that demands your reaction to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, even if your, let's say, avatar dies in the game, you need to say something funny. You need to say something clever. And even more than funny, I think it's being clever on social media. That's the most taxing thing.
Yeah.
You can't be a fool, right?
Yeah.
You can have fun, but you have to know that, being clever is very, very time challenging.
Correct.
And I'm glad that she made that, transition, because nobody likes to watch their favorite creators, burn out, becoming bitter, because that's one of the things with creators. They become bitter, right? Look at KSI, what's happening? He's saying stuff that he should not be saying, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a strategy, but he clearly sounds bitter. So if you find yourself, getting bitter, take a break or move on to something more exciting, or even less exciting. But with time, you need to make change. Otherwise, if you're just dancing on the stage without taking any breaks, you're bound to, break down.
You're bound to get tired. Yeah, you're bound to break down. I think that's very important. And I think she has hopefully successfully managed to, create a balance, right? Because I think with streaming also, it incentivizes you to, more and more the greed. Oh, there are 10,000, 100,000 people watching me. Yeah. Oh, they're sending me money. They're sending me gifts.
And I'm glad that you brought this word balance, because her audience, she was catering to predominantly men on Twitch, and now on TikTok, majority of the viewers are women.
Correct.
So I think that's also a very positive sign, because not every creator has this balance. Even the biggest of creators don't have this balance.
Yeah. Absolutely. That creating that balance, I think, and probably Poki also realized that a lot of people are just the men, again, these young men on the internet who have very little to do probably otherwise, are just, looking at her stream and just wow, Poki, And now she's actually becoming a lifestyle creator. So a lot of girls probably have aspirations. Okay, that, I want to probably dance like her, or probably want to have a house like her and all of that. So it's interesting how ambition also sort of changes form, right? Like depending on what you do, you become ambitious to a certain group of people. Right. So I think that has been extremely, extremely exciting for me. But what do you think about the entire fact, Shubham, that do you think it's a good way? Do you think streaming overall is a good way to first establish a relationship, and after that establishment is done, then you can move on to other things, right? But do you think that, let's do some hard work, let's, suss it out for a bit, and then it's actually pretty easy if you crack it, that is. What are your thoughts on using streaming as a moat, basically?
I think, I would like Poki to go back to streaming and do it her way, right? Not the conventional way, because it's the streaming part that got her movie, Free Guy. Which was video games, right?
Correct.
I think, people of her stature in any genre, they should try to, restructure that genre. Because when you're there, just play the game for fun. You don't have to say one sentence a second or minute, right? So go back, play the games you want, even if they are not, the really famous games. Try to be brave, because you've come this far by being brave, right? So try to, release some pressure of other streamers as well by doing things in a different way, so that they can also, because they're already looking up to you, right? So I think she should do that.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting point. Yeah, like sort of, again, this is something that we kind of touched on with the Ray William Johnson video as well. Although I don't know how he's of course changed the format, but I think he's still the same dude. Like, I think he's changed the format. I'll go from long form to short form, right? Where I'll essentially have those hooks and talk about those things. But with Poki, I think if she hasn't, looking at her channel pretty much right now as well, she hasn't done, at least on YouTube, pretty much for a year. She's done a lot of like travel vlogs and all of that. She went to Coachella. But I don't think her last proper, video about gaming was pretty much a year ago, right? It was pretty much a year ago with her gamings and whatnot, with her gaming. So probably there's something in the works. I don't know. Probably she'll be, you'll feel like there's a sense of attachment that, I should probably go back to my roots, right? I love doing all of this, but there are so many other people. Probably if I do a mixture of game vlogging, I don't know how that is, that let me sort of set this up like a new genre, like a mashup. That's very interesting to see, right? Because then you see, when you see their entire YouTube channel, you see, this was when they were gaming, the vlogs happened. Oh, this is when the switch hit, and they wanted to sort of merge these two genres if they can. If you're good at it, you might fail, but you should always try. And I think that's a big lesson for creators, that after you've done something and after you're trying something else, probably there's some merit in combining those two things, or just exploring what new you can create and just set a path for the others.
Yeah, absolutely. Make your own way. You have already, treaded a path which was very unique to begin with. So now go ahead, make it more beautiful. Put grass on, on the rocks, and try to have some fun.
Awesome, great. I think that's it from my end. Do let us know, folks, what do you all feel about Poki's career as a Twitch streamer first? Then, of course, she became a YouTuber. Now she's still, whatever you may call her, you can still call her a creator. I think that's a very interesting catch-all term that we can use. But where does Poki go from here? What would you do in her position? And what would you like to see more from her? Whatever your thoughts are, you can comment below in the comment section. And please do subscribe to 1000 Faces Club. That's been it from my side. I'm Shreevar.
This is Shubham.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.